Good morning, everyone. My name is Dale Oviatt, Senior Manager of Communications for WinSport. Today, I have the pleasure of being the MC for this fantastic announcement. We're pleased to have you join us here this morning at the WinSport Day Lodge. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that Calgary is on Treaty 7 territory, home of the Blackfoot Confederacy of the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda nations of Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley. This area also has deep importance to the Métis people of Alberta. Today, I'm pleased to be in the company of Ron Orr, Minister of Culture, Demetrius Nicolaides, Minister of Advanced Education and MLA for Calgary-Bow, Nicholas Milliken, Minister of Infrastructure and MLA for Calgary-Currie, and Barry Heck, President and CEO of WinSport. I'd like to acknowledge and welcome WinSport Board Chair Peter Kohaas, our WinSport team members, and students from the WinSport-based National Sports School. To begin with, I'd like to call Minister Orr to the podium.
Thank you so much, Dale, and good morning, everybody. What a great day, fantastic day here, and good news as well. So what more can you ask for? So I'm so glad to be joined today by, as was just said, Barry Heck and other members of WinSport team. I got to give a shout out to all the students back there from the sports school. Hello, I'm so glad you could join us. Good to have you here today. And we'll also hear from one of them in a few minutes. So the building we are here, well, in the area here, we've had the media here before, you know. The 1988 Olympics occurred here. So it's so fitting that we have you back 34 years later to this particular site. Those Olympics were important, and what's happening today here is just as important, very worthwhile for Alberta. So it's my honor then to announce that Alberta's government is providing $17.5 million in funding to WinSport for planned renovations to the Frank King Day Lodge facility. Since the end of the 1988 Calgary Winter Games, this lodge has become a central hub for these entire grounds here. While the structure itself remains in excellent shape, which we are thankful for, the upgrades that are planned will extend the overall life cycle of the building. Canada Olympic Park is a key tourist attraction for the city and benefits sport in so many ways. And as an integral part of this legacy site, the Day Lodge has literally welcomed millions of athletes and visitors annually for the past 30 plus years. It's a gathering place for winter sporting community and for the public that visits this historic site. The proposed modifications will make it more accessible and inclusive for Albertans across the province. For the sporting world, this means that para-athletes will now also be able to have more meaningful access to this facility. And disabled visitors will now be able to access the guest services and other amenities housed in the building. These modifications will also reduce the building's long-term environmental impact and help it to meet the 2024 Net Zero Emissions Building Code. That's a great achievement. This means a friendlier and more useful space for athletes, for their families, friends, coaches, visitors, and everyone to use and enjoy this space. It also means that millions more will be able to access this legacy space over the course of the next 3 decades, and quite frankly also increase the likelihood of hosting future world-class events, competitions, and games in Alberta. So this is a site that really focuses on sports and athletics from beginners to high-performance athletes, the full spectrum. And so it's a great facility for us to upgrade and keep going here in Alberta. It'll be a warmer, more welcoming place where sporting memories continue to be celebrated and remembered, and where personal achievements and memories will be made and cherished. So from athletes to coaches to friends and family, Albertans from across our province have enjoyed the Frank Day Lodge in some capacity since its creation and will be able to continue to do so. It's a place that will allow athletes to learn and grow and dream. In fact, we're going to hear in a few minutes from Paulina, as I mentioned, a young Alberta athlete who has benefited from using Canada Olympic Park. And as Minister responsible for sport in Alberta, I'm pleased to be able to take part in this entire event today. So congratulations to Barry Heck and his team at WinSport. We look forward to seeing the redesigned Day Lodge once it's complete. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Minister Orr. This is amazing news for WinSport, City of Calgary, the province of Alberta, and Canada for sure. I'd now like to call Minister Nicolaides to the podium.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. And good morning, students. Great to see everyone here on such an incredible day. And Minister Orr, thank you for this incredible announcement to help revitalize the Frank King Day Lodge just behind us. And as well, thank you for being here in the fantastic riding of Calgary Bow. Of course, as Minister of Advanced Education, I also wear the other hat of being MLA for Calgary Bow, our riding here, our community, where WinSport and Canada Olympic Park is. And I think we can all agree, and well, at least Minister Orr and Minister Milliken might disagree, but I think many of us here can agree that Calgary Bow is probably the best riding in the entire province. I mean, just look at where we are. Of course, no other riding in Calgary or in the province has Canada Olympic Park. So I want to thank them for being here and making this important announcement for the benefit of all Albertans, Calgarians, and as well for so many families here in Calgary Bow. As a parent, a husband, and member of the community right here in Calgary Bow, I know firsthand how members of our community and families in Calgary Bow and in the area use the facilities here. In fact, my own community association, the West Springs and Cougar Ridge Community Association, I believe every February books out the ski hill for a sledding and tubing night, and it's just dedicated to the residents of the West Springs and Cougar Ridge Community Association, as well many of the other activities and events that occur here at the facilities benefit so many families in the Calgary Bow area and beyond. So I just want to acknowledge and thank that. And as well, you know, the Canada Olympic Park, I think as Minister Orr mentioned, has served Calgary for more than 3 decades. WinSport provides families with fun activities all year round. In case you didn't know, whether it's skyline luge, zip lining, or even skiing. I'm not going to try the zip lining, so don't ask. As well, not to mention the hundreds and even thousands of professional athletes that have been hosted here over the course of those 3 decades. And of course, let's not forget one of the incredible legacies of this facility being the '88 Olympics. You know, I was just 6 years old when Calgary hosted the '88 Olympics. Yes, that technically means I'm a millennial. And so one of my very first memories growing up in Calgary was of Canada Olympic Park, the '88 Olympics, and seeing the Olympic torch being paraded through our city. So COP holds a very special place in my heart, as it does, I believe, for many Calgarians and many families right here in Calgary Bow. And that's why I'm so excited to be here today for this new funding announcement. And I'm honored to see it go through, especially after lending my support to this project's application. Today's news is indeed incredible for WinSport and for Calgary. From kids to coaches and athletes to parents, Albertans from across our province have fond and deep memories of either training, coaching, cheering, or just playing at this incredible facility. And these renovations will ensure that many more Albertans in the years to come can enjoy the benefits that these facilities have to offer. As MLA for Calgary Bow, it's been my pleasure again to be here, and congratulations to WinSport on securing this important funding.
Thank you, Minister Nicolaides. At this time, I'd like to call up Minister Milliken to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Dale. Ministers, Minister Orr, Minister Nicolaides, of course, Barry Heck and Paulina, very nice to see you all here. With regards to Minister Nicolaides' comment as the MLA for Calgary Bow, I would just like to say that as the MLA for Calgary Curry, challenge accepted as to whether or not yours or mine might be the best. I will say this though, with regards to Calgary as a whole, we consider ourselves one big community, all the MLAs do. So when an investment such as this one comes along, it's a no-brainer for an MLA like myself, who may not be the representative locally in the constituency, but of course close, and as noted with Calgary being one community, it's very, very easy for all of us in a nonpartisan way to get behind these phenomenal ventures. So thank you very much for having me here. Of course, the Frank King Day Lodge is a huge part of the visitor experience here at the COP campus. Every year, as noted by Minister Orr, over 1 million guests, families, and athletes pass through this facility. This is why revitalizing the space is absolutely critical. And from conversations that I've had with Barry over the years as well, this is an economic hub for the campus as well. So again, it's very much an honor to be here, to be part of this announcement and to celebrate it, which is of course something that needs to be celebrated on so many levels. With regards to the planned redesign, the building and of course the transformation of the visitor experience, it will turn into something truly, truly unforgettable. A more inclusive, accessible space will remove barriers for athletes and visitors, making it possible for everyone to enjoy a day at COP no matter what their background is. Of course, as a key tourist attraction for the city, this new space will be able to warmly welcome many people from Calgary, of course, Alberta, and of course from all around the world. In addition, this tourism boost will have a ripple effect, of course, out towards the park and the surrounding community. Local businesses will, of course, open their doors to more customers, and in turn, they will be able to invest more into their employees and, of course, save for the future. But to get there, of course, we must build it. And of course, this project will mean creating more jobs in construction and the trades, which I'm sure, as everybody knows in this area, we could all use more construction around here, right? So, and of course, it will provide a welcome economic stimulus, of course, to the local area and of course to the city. So I want to give a huge congratulations to WinSport, to Barry for your amazing work on this, on securing this funding, and I cannot wait to see the new lodge. As noted, as the MLA for Calgary Currie and just a Calgary MLA, noting that this is such a Calgary community, these investments are amazing. And I know so many people in Calgary Currie that utilize this space, this campus. I myself, as a father of a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, I've got a 2-year-old that will soon be learning how to ski right here, and I've got a 5-year-old who's already done several years of lessons here, including even during some of the COVID restriction times where this was an amazing organization ensuring that there were safe, athletic opportunities for kids of all ages. And so with that, thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor to be here. And again, I should give out a shout out to the students as well for being here, for your support as well. So thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you, Minister Milliken. And now I call upon WinSport President and CEO, Barry Heck.
Great. Well, what another great day. And thank you, Dale. And thank you, everyone, for joining us here this morning. A special thank you to our 3 ministers represented here today. I also want to mention Minister Whitney Issac was supposed to be here, but last minute cancellation or change of plans. But I do want to really recognize and thank the support of the government of Alberta, Minister Orr, and in particular, really the Calgary members of the government, led by Minister Nicolaides, Milligan, Isaac, and others. And your support of our community of WinSport is so appreciated and so valued. And I can't say enough about the work that these representatives of our community have done for us. So thank you very much for that. I also want to recognize, Dale mentioned WinSport Board Chair Peter Kohlhaas, who's standing over there. Peter is a business leader in his own right. He leads WinSport's incredibly committed and passionate volunteer board of directors. And we are so grateful for Peter and our entire board's contribution to WinSport and Calgary and our community. So today's announcement is not only exciting for our team, many of whom are here today, and I thank all of you. This is very much a team effort, and None of this happens without this incredible team that we have here at WinSport, and more so for the hundreds of thousands of people who come to Canada Olympic Park through this day lodge every year. And these users, we've touched on, but I think it's really important to recognize the broad range of the stakeholders and the community groups that we serve, whether they're the beginning skiers and snowboarders, the young children who can barely walk. Nicholas, you referred to that, yet they're out here learning how to ski and snowboard for the first time. The teens and athletes who are developing and learning their skills through the terrain park. The parents who drop off their kids to mountain bike in the summer or take ski lessons in the winter. There's all the volunteers and participants and parents who come to Canada Olympic Park on Sunday nights to participate with CADS Calgary, the Canadian Disabled Ski Association, one of the longest running and biggest disabled ski associations in Canada. There's the newcomers that WinSport welcomes every year to our campus, the new Canadians that we introduce to snow and other sports and bring them into the Calgary community. And there's the students that you see here today from the National Sports School, many of whom who have grown up at our facilities, and they now go to school here. Many of them train here on our various facilities, including the park, the ski and snowboard here. You'll hear from one of them shortly. Just by way of reference, the National Sports School now has over 300 students who go to school right here on Canada Olympic Park from grades 8 to 12. They represent 30 sports, and 70 different clubs are represented. This is a tremendous part of what we do at WinSport, and it's the only school of its kind in Canada, and we are so grateful and proud of the relationship and the work we do with the National Sports School. The Day Lodge really is the epicenter for outdoor sport at our campus here at Canada Olympic Park. As has been mentioned, it was opened in 1987, and it served as a media center for the 88 Winter Olympics. Following the Olympics, and for the 4-odd years since then, it's really served as the Day Lodge and a community building that's been a central gathering place for all ages and all abilities and all walks of life. Although the building has gone through small renovations over the years, it's now at its end of its useful life, and it's time to change with the times, with a focus on energy efficiency, accessibility, inclusiveness, and just a better, more enhanced guest experience. Now, the entire project itself is projected to cost between $39 and $43 million in its totality. And today's announcement from the government of Alberta's commitment of $17.5 million and the previously announced contribution from the government of Canada, this project is now a reality and will go ahead. The design work is proceeding. We've hired a project manager. We're out for tenders on our construction manager. So we're full speed ahead, and we hope to have shovels in the ground and tools in hand as early as next summer, possibly. So as has been referred to, this long-awaited project, which is WinSport's #1 capital project and priority and has been for many years, will significantly enhance the guest experience for the next 40-plus years. Some of the highlights were previously referred to, so improved access. So for example, the elimination of stairs between the parking lot and the hill, various guest services, rental shops, all the food and beverage, retail will all be enhanced. So in improving flow and accessibility, we'll have better and more inclusive facilities such as washrooms and other services that ensure we have an inclusive and accessible experience. The deck space will be much larger, where parents can come and watch their children take a lesson or compete. Now, there'll be less visible but very important upgrades that will substantially improve the energy efficiency. There was reference to that. So this building will be built to a net zero standard, so really in line with Canada's and our energy efficiency and sustainability objectives. We really want to make sure that all Albertans of all ages and abilities can discover the joy and health benefits and skill development that sport offers by making this facility completely accessible and inclusive. And finally, this investment is critical from an economic development and tourism perspective. WinSport alone, from our operations here at Canada Olympic Park, we generate in excess of $120 million of positive economic contribution to the City of Calgary and approximately 1,200 full-time job equivalents. So this is a major economic driver for our city. The competitions and other events that WinSports hosts at Canada Olympic Park bring people from around the country and around the world to our great city. Providing accessible and upgraded facilities will make a huge difference in our ability to continue to attract these world-class, top-tier events to our province. WinSport's dedicated to inspiring and activating human potential through the spirit of sport. And thanks to the Government of Alberta's support for this project, we can continue to do so for generations to come by securing the future of the WinSport Day Lodge and WinSport as a whole. Thank you very much, and I'll now turn it back to Dale.
Thank you, Barry. And finally, I'd like to call upon someone who will be directly impacted by today's announcement. Paulina Pramtula-Watana is a grade 12 student at the National Sports School here at Canada Olympic Park. She's been snowboarding since the age of 4, starting here at the park, and then she transitioned to skiing and is now a member of the Alberta freestyle team. She has aspirations to become a member of Team Canada for the Olympics, so we hope that happens for her. And for the past 13 years, this has been like a second home to her. So now, NSS, let's hear it for your classmate.
Thank you, Dave. I'm thrilled to be part of this exciting news regarding WinSport and the soon-to-be expanded Day Lodge. The fact that I learned to snowboard here is fitting since this is where my dad, Pirashad, learned to snowboard when he first came to Canada from Thailand. For him, it was a way to immerse himself into Canadian culture, and he wanted to make sure that I had the same opportunity. Between the ages of 4 and 7, I transitioned from snowboarding to alpine skiing and then back to freestyle skiing after seeing people flip off jumps. Seeing those skiers excited me. Cork 7s, Dub 12s, Switchbow 9s, it all seemed more intriguing than just racing. So my dad signed me up for a Jumps and Bumps program, and as they say, the rest is history. For so many people like me, the Day Lodge here at COP is more than just a building. Over the years, it has been a place to keep warm between runs, a place to spend time with my family after fun little races, and a place to meet my friends, fellow athletes, and new people. Most of my fondest memories are here at this building and on the hill. Almost always during the winter, you can find me here. Now as a student at the National Sports School, I not only go to school here, but I train here and even do physio here, all in my attempt to reach my dream of representing Canada at the next Winter Olympic Games in Italy. I was excited to learn that the Government of Alberta was committing funding to the renovation of the Day Lodge. I believe that it is essential to provide as many opportunities for everyone, no matter their age, ability, or background. I love seeing little kids going down the hill and learning how to go from pizza to French fries on skis, as well as the most elite of the elite, continuing the legacy of the 1988 Calgary Olympic Games. It's important we remove as many barriers as possible in sport and in life, so I want to thank the Government of Alberta for supporting this initiative to help make this wish a reality. Thank you. I will now return it back to Dave.
Good job.
Thank you, Paulina. I am still a pizza guy, just so you know. Best of luck in your sporting endeavors. This concludes the formal portion of the event. Thank you all again for attending today's exciting announcement. I'll now turn it over to my colleague, Savannah, who will handle any questions from the media.
Great, thanks, Dale. We'll take some questions from reporters now. We'll start with those here in person, then move to the phones. Just a reminder, reporters will be one question, one follow-up. Please state your name and outlet for the record. And please also specify who your question is directed to. If you have any questions from those in the room here, you can come up. Yeah.
Hi, Jordan with CTV News. This question is for either Barry Heck or Minister Orr. Obviously, you talked about these renovations opening the door to more world-class events, none bigger than the Olympics. We know what happened with the 2026 bid. Does this open the door again for a potential bid in the future for Calgary and WinSport? And is WinSport involved in any current discussions about another possible bid?
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. So it's Barry Heck of WinSport. So does this open the door for a potential future bid? Yes, perhaps. Any time we enhance and build a new facility that can be used for a world-class event such as an Olympic bid or a World Cup or an X Games, I mean, it enhances our city's ability to attract those events. WinSport is not currently involved in any discussions with the ongoing Olympic bid process. I think we all know that Vancouver is exploring a potential 2030 bid, and no, WinSport's not involved in that at this time.
I can say from the government's point that the question certainly has been raised. Is it a possibility? We're certainly open to that. Yes, it is a possibility, but you know, these things are a long way out. There's a lot of work to be done to get there. We have engaged in some initial processes, and we're exploring it. There is a small group of individuals who have put together some proposals for a future opportunity, and we will certainly be looking at those as they come and as it becomes appropriate to talk about details. So yes, it's possible.
I wanted to follow up on that. Then, can you expand on what that group could potentially be looking for, locations, which games they could potentially be looking at, and what part is the province playing in that exploration?
So the city of Calgary has almost all the amenities that it would need for games at this stage, and of course this kind of redevelopment would obviously add to that. At this stage, I don't think it's appropriate for me to go into details or to talk about conversations that may be happening, but I'll just leave it where I left it before. Yes, it is a possibility.
Hajar Al-Kazai with Livewire Calgary. My question is to Mr. Heck. You said WinSport is going to basically be spending $39 to $43 million for this project. Do you guys have that amount of money in total at the moment? And if not, where is it going to be coming from, the remaining amount left?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. It was about our level of funding. And yeah, I referenced the fact that the current estimates for the entire project are in the 39 to 43 range. That includes the day lodge and various other phases of the entire redevelopment of the base of the ski hills. So for example, all the parking facilities you see out here, repurposing of other buildings. That when I use those numbers, I'm really talking of the entire potential funding envelope. So far, we have secured $35 million, so the project is a go. Other potential sources of funding we continue to work on, and as those are secured, the project will unfold as as funding becomes available. But suffice it to say that based on today's funding that we've got, the project will go ahead, and we are moving full speed ahead.
Hi, I'm Dave with CBC. This is for Barry. Just when we talk about things like, for example, the potential for future Olympic bids, what you're seeing in the way of decades ahead in terms of growth and development for here, accepting this project, what are you identifying as some key priorities moving ahead in terms of infrastructure development, renovations, in order to kind of meet things like, for example, a future Olympic bid, and also in terms of your vision in terms of where this complex is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years from now?
Well, as I mentioned before, the number one priority at Canada Olympic Park was the renovation of this day lodge and the surrounding amenities and facilities. So we maintain, and if I back up, when we looked at what was needed here to host when Calgary was exploring the 2026 bid, The number one project was the Day Lodge, and everything flows from there. So as far as what other things are needed, we maintain a capital list like any organization does, and we go down, we look at, we consult with stakeholders and funding partners as to as what would be required and when. And as far as preparing for a future games, that doesn't really factor at this time into our planning. We have to plan for what our current and most urgent needs are, and we start to itemize and prioritize our capital based on that. So the question, are we currently in any discussions with any level of government on other larger projects? We're always in discussions with governments and funding partners. I mean, the focus over the last several years has been this Day Lodge renovation. And so as far as major capital goes, no, this is the one that we focused on, and now that we have this secured, we'll move to the next one. Now there's all kinds of smaller capital projects that we look at on an ongoing basis, and we continually talk to various government fundings and other sources as to how we can access the capital to do that. So we have yearly discussions, for example, with the government of Alberta on various infrastructure grants that they have. So those are of a smaller nature, whether it's to upgrade snowmaking or specific smaller facility enhancements. But as far as large, infrastructure capital projects, there's the focus has been on the Day Lodge, and we'll move to the next project once we get this started.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Is there any more questions here in person? Okay. Thanks, everyone. That concludes our press conference.